I'm a big tuck guy into butterfly guard. Okay, go ahead and open your guard. So just open. When I'm here, as soon as I get him to open this, I open the door here. Boom. I tuck this in, and I shut the door. Did everybody see that? See how you just scooted away? He didn't like that I had his arm. But that's the way it is. His head's against the fence. See, I get to make the rules. Okay. Why do I want this leg tucked?
Control?
Yes.
So it can't submit you.
Correct. That's the correct answer right there.
I can't block punches with my shin either.
So, I mean, with that, absolutely triangles are out the door. Okay? And 99% of arm bars are out the door. Now, I can be really silly here, and if he kicks that leg over my head, he's got a good situation to get an arm bar. But, I mean, I really got to... Fighting's big where I got to make a huge mistake, and I can lose. Or if I put 5 or 6 small mistakes together, I can lose as well. But this would be one of those where I'd have to put like 20 mistakes together in a row. But it can't happen. So I'm a big tucker. So that way that doesn't happen. Now, from here I'm going to crowd him, and I'm going to crowd around to the leg that I've got tucked. This is by far my go-to guard pass that I've really not had a problem with anybody ever stopping it. It just the way my body is and the way my technique is, this is great for me. Okay? So if I'm looking, what's your first name again?
Evan.
Do you mind if I call you Evan? Evan here, as I'm looking at Evan, I've got the left leg tucked. I take my opposite hand, which will be my right hand, and I underhook this side. Where do I put my head? Where at? What side?
That side.
This side? You were wrong. You were right last time, wrong this time. I've got to keep my head right over here. Because I got to keep it between his head and this arm. Why would I keep my head between his head and this arm?
Create space.
Say again?
Can't lock onto it?
So if my head's over here, he can key lock this arm. No, go for the key lock. You see that? And go ahead and Evan, just key lock. If I'm in a key lock situation, if I can get my head in here between the key lock and his head, I've stopped that key lock. Okay? Did you ever see that? I'm a huge key locker. My bread and butter. So I'll tell you, if the only thing he's got here is this key lock, because I got to come up here and I'm going to do this. But if my head's in the way, he doesn't have it. And if somebody's got you in a key lock, if you can get your head between the key lock and his head, he doesn't have any power. That was a freebie. I'll do that in for you. So here I am. As I'm looking at Evan, left leg's trapped in the butterfly. I've got the right underhook here. And now I start creeping around with my head over here on the opposite side, so when I push this leg down, he can't key lock me. See how I'm walking around? I'm off center. Now all I got to do is I got to push this down. It's a very easy movement for me to just push that down. What I do is I take my right leg through most of the time here. And I actually, see how my shoelaces, or what I would call my shoelaces, are still controlling that leg? Because if I just went all the way through, he'd be able to maybe bring that knee back through like he just did. Okay, I don't want that to happen. So I'm a big shoelace guy. When I pass something, I like to control that leg so I can come in and get fully situated where I'm at. Now I've got the far side underhook, and I've got control of him. I'm going to do it to the other side just so you guys maybe have a different view. Okay, I've got Evan's right leg. Which underhook do I need?
Left.
Left. Where's my head go?
Right.
Right. See how I'm coming around? Now it's safe for me to do anything I want with this arm because I've got my head in the way. Boom. I can come with my right leg over if I want. See how you just grab my leg? I don't want that. So what I usually do, boom. As soon as I get situated, I get him, and I get nice and tight, I can release that leg. Okay?
I'm sorry, this may be a silly question, but I don't do karate.
Sure, just...
But as you're training to do that, the person that is on the, you train how to get out of that thing that you just have.
The guard pass.
Yes. So is there any position where you just cannot get out of?
Knockout. I'm trying to understand your question.
It's like a position there's no escape from.
Well, you know, if somebody's got your back, it's pretty hard to get out. When somebody's, when Evan's here, I mean, there are definitely ways to get out of here, but this is a tough situation for this guy to get out of. I mean, I've got to peel legs, and I'll try and hop out, but I mean, it's a tough situation.
Like a voice button.
So that's my go-to guard pass. We're running short of time, so did everybody get a visual? Did everybody get a good visual of that? Because I'm not gonna separate you, if that's all right. Somebody got a question? I'll take a question. Situation question.
I got one. I just want to try something. I thought I saw a triangle, but I'm sure it's not there. So, got the overhook, and as you're passing, what prevents me from controlling here and threatening here? Or are you just...
Well, so you're thinking that I'm going to give you the control of this arm?
Yeah, just like as we're scrambling, what do you do personally to prevent this leg coming through?
When I'm hearing this, oh, that's right. I'm controlling this arm and everything, and when I come up here, this leg goes down. Now with this leg down, there's no threat of this leg
You're
doing
just using like your body weight
Yes.
and getting this leg over there as quickly as possible. Okay.
Can you transition to an arm triangle pretty easily from that as well? Because your head's already in the chest, so he can
Yes.
put his arm up.
If he keeps the arm up there. Where was I going to go? I don't know. Anybody else? It'll come back to me here in a second.
One question. If after you have the underhook and they get their foot back around, what do you use to get your arm out from the underhook so they can't threaten you?
You mean the overhook?
I mean, like if he overhooks your arm
He's talking
and gets
about
his
this.
shin back out,
And he gets the shin back out?
yeah, like back to closed guard. What do you use to get rid of the?
Oh, he's saying how do you get this under?
Well, this is a situation where, release for a second. When I'm fighting, go ahead and stay here. When I'm fighting, where do I want my hands at all times?
On the person.
On the person. We're at on the person. From the nipples down. Okay? Just because if you're up here, of course, I'm liable for arm bars. So always on the person. Okay? That keeps him from doing this. Because this for me, it's a good situation because I'll come back and I'll tuck and I'll try and pass. But I want to be the dictator there, and I don't want him to start dictating what's going to happen, because he's going to look for a triangle as soon as he does that. I mean,
He can punch too.
that's an age-old triangle move to get him to do that when he gets that overhook. So you just be careful. Keep your hands on him the whole time, and just remember, when you're in here, that's what he's wanting, and he's going to try stuffing this arm to come up and go into the triangle. Okay? Now, you're on your back. The number one thing I can tell you is the far side underhook. I want to control this guy, and that's the way I float. Went out and trained with BJ for his last fight, and it's funny how two different guys, we just are totally opposite. When it comes to on the ground, I found out we actually got a lot in common. We get along real well. But on the ground, he floats his hips around and doesn't like to be controlled and likes to float around, and I'm the exact opposite. When I'm wrestling somebody, I'm going to pin your hips down, I'm going to cross, I'm going to do whatever I want by controlling you, and he's a floater. But say something happened, and he's got far side underhook, okay? What he's going to do is he's probably going to bump me up and then come out the back door, okay? So that's bad. When I come out, I always want the far side underhook. And if I don't have the far side underhook, I probably won't come out. This whole move here, if I don't have the far side underhook, I won't try it. I just won't, because if he's got the far side underhook and then coming out, well, I know it's just a matter of time before I'm into a scramble. I don't want to scramble. If I'm on top, I'm going to stay on top. So Evan's here, something happened, and he got the far side underhook. Okay? This is the situation we're going to go from right now. I can't mess with Evan's shoulders and his chest. He's got too much power there. So what I do is I push him away, and I want to mess with his hips. See how my body is now on his hips? Push him away. Now that I've got his arms straightened out, he has significantly less power from here than he does from here. Okay, does everybody see that? I'm going to turn you just a little bit. So here we are. I'm pushing on him. I'm back by, you see where I'm back by his hips? Now, to get my underhook back, I do not take my hand and try and pry my hand there. All I do is I just cut the pressure with my elbow. See how easy that was? Does he have the underhook? No. I don't really have the underhook either, but the thing is, Evan doesn't have the underhook to have that leverage to throw me off. Now it's very easy for me to come in here and get my underhook back. Now I can float around, I'll bring my hips back up, and I'll do the things I want to do. Do we all see how I did that? And it's, you know, it's simple stuff like that, that all I did was take my elbow, put it to the mat, and it cut all the pressure he had, the leverage he had. I'm going to go on the ground. I'm going to show you what I think is the most effective strike from being on your back, okay? So here I am. Mr. Evans here. This is a bad situation for me. I don't like this. Actually, if Evan is here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to control his hand. I'm going to bring my foot up. I'm going to push him away just like that. And I come up and fall. I do it all the time to guys at the gym. They hate it. But, I mean, we're big on, in my gym, we start like this. One person down, one person up. If the bottom guy, you don't have to go down. If the bottom guy gets up, they start back, but the bottom guy now is going to be on top. So we always work on this guy getting up. Because I don't want the bottom guy to sit there and get punched for 5 minutes, 4.5, whatever, and lose the round because he didn't get up. Okay? Get up. Do your striking or do your wrestling to take somebody down. But this is the place you want to be. I mean, even the good submission guys don't like to get hit in the head, you know. Phil Broney, is everybody familiar with the name Phil? Great guy, get along with Phil. And I tell this story, if Phil was in here right now. Phil Broney, he's not going to win any essay contests or something like that, right? I mean, we all know Phil. But Phil said one of those things that stuck with me and was very smart. Best defense to an armbar is... punch to the face. Punch to the face. And how true is that statement? You can be the best grappler in the world, but I tell you what, when you've got punches coming down on you, things change. Like Brock Lesnar. He's a great wrestler, but I tell you what, that guy don't like getting hit. He don't turn into that two-time NCAA national champion after he gets punched.
I got a question.
Let me go through this strike real quick, okay? So here's Evan. Evan's got good posture. I don't want that because I don't have anything from here. Now Evan, it's a fine line with me, and Evan is actually outside the line where I would push him. So I mean, that's what I would do from now. But what I want is I want Evan in nice and tight. Okay. Now I've got submissions and striking. When Evan's back, I don't have either one. I mean, I'm just a punching bag from here. So I would grab, pull in tight, and I always want my bottom guys to control the head. Okay, here we are again. We're going to do this human nature thing, and I'm going to ask you something, and you're going to tell me what human nature is. I've got Evan here. I pull him down and keep him tight to my chest. What's Evan's natural reaction?
Come back up.
And that's what I want. I want Evan to come back up. So here I am. I'm pushing down. My hand stays on the back of his head for a couple of reasons. I'm pushing down. Evan's natural reaction is to just go nice and easy. Just give me some pressure up. At the same time Evan's pushing up, I pop with my hips to make Evan go up. Okay? See my back of my hand? It now is controlling Evan's head. So at the same time, Evan's down. I can feel him pushing away. I load this elbow up. Here I am. Now I pop my hips. Boom. I really think that if I hit somebody here, my elbow is going to travel all the way down and come out by his mouth. I mean, I just think that that's going to be a huge cut. If you can hit anybody up here with a good elbow, you're going to cut them bad. And I just don't know why this elbow isn't used more than it is. I think people just don't know the big setup. But this setup right here is going to boom. Now I make the two meet in the middle. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just asking, who would the ideal target on the face be? The nose or bridge nose?
No. Up where your tight skin is. Because that's going to be where you cut people. Anything up here on top of the head, around here, is going to, as soon as your elbow hits that bone, it's going to cut the skin between them.
Do you not aim for the nose just because it's a smaller target, lower percentage?
You can break somebody's nose and the fight goes on. But if you give somebody a good laceration, doctor looks at it, it's done.
That makes sense.
So I always aim for the tight skin. They say if you've got a mohawk, you're not supposed to elbow and cut the mohawk. But I mean, that's a pretty fine line. I mean,
You mean like that's the illegal?
that's
zone?
the illegal. If you like a Chuck Liddell, whatever he had, you're not supposed to be able to touch. So check the rules of a fight somewhere if you're fighting. But always the skin, tight skin. Like you never see any cuts on your cheek because that skin just moves around so much it's not going to cut. But up here it is going to cut.
And from the top, it's never legal, right?
You can't go from the sky down. From the sky down. Now any other elbow I can do. I just can't go straight up to straight down. So you can't go exactly. Because it's going straight down.
Bones Jones, Matt Hamill.
Say again?
Bones Jones,
John
Matt Hamill.
Jones.
Is it,
John Jones and Matt Hamill fight.
John Jones got disqualified for throwing the elbow.
Oh, did he?
lost. 9-time UFC champion, you didn't know.
Well, the thing about it is, I don't watch a whole lot of fights because that's what I do. You don't see shoemakers going and watching, you know what I'm saying? I watch fights that I'm interested in, but I got better things to do than watch. Yeah, it sounds bad, but does everybody understand? I'm not trying to be a jerk, I just don't. Another good elbow from the bottom is what I call a push elbow. If I get to the side, I'll come up, and Evan did good because I want him to look at my elbow. See right now, Evan's looking at my elbow as opposed to now he's not. I want Evan to look at my elbow, and if I push away, what's Evan going to do? Push back. He's probably going to push back. Now I take this, and I'm going to do it slow so I don't cut Evan. His pressure back is going to force his head to keep coming towards me, and I'll come like that.
It's the Jeremy Horrible.
The German, yeah, it's too bad you got me here because you could have had Jeremy here because 90% of what I'm showing you came from Jeremy Horn. The guy's just a god on the ground. So my push elbow, I'm pushing away, he pushes back, and then I take it, I just try and miss. And what happens when you try and miss? Boom. You just graze, that's right. And your elbow is like a pocket knife, okay? When my elbow's all the way extended, there's no blade showing. But the more that I take this wrist and bring it back to my shoulder, the more of a knife that I show. So when you throw an elbow that you want to cut, you want to make sure that blade is all the way out to hit somebody. And Jeremy really told me that when you throw an elbow, try and miss, because that means you're barely going to skim him, and that sharp bone down there is going to hit. So if I want to cut somebody, I don't want to hit him with this part here. I want to hit him with this part here and skim him. On the submission side of things, I'm a big key lock guy, and when we get back on top, I'll show you my #1 setup for key locks. But since I'm on the ground, I'll show you what I think. Triangles are big, so we'll go into triangles. And I think a lot of people have the problem of when they go for a triangle, they automatically want to go for a triangle of the choke right here. And I would say my theory is don't do that. When I go for a triangle, I just lock my legs either way. Okay. Now from here, I've got 3 submissions. Can everybody tell me what the 3 submissions are?
Key lock.
Key lock, arm bar, triangle. You guys are a smart group.
What about an omoplata?
Well, I wouldn't, because I got to release my legs, and if I've got somebody here, well, I'll tell you why would I want to keep somebody right here?
Controlling my posture.
But I've got some. This is probably the best place to do striking right here. See how he really doesn't have any defense. Well, you've got that arm, but you're not going to have that arm because I'm going to have this arm. Now you can bring this arm around to do anything, but if you're in a fight, this is a totally legal strike. And I tell my guys, that's why I say just lock. It doesn't matter how you lock your legs. just keep him from getting good posture right off the bat. Okay? Now from here, I'm throwing my strikes. Boom. I'm softening him up, and I'm gonna usually the first thing I do is I go for my key lock because he's still safe. And when I throw my strikes, what's he worried about?
My face.
He's worried about his face. He's not worried about his submission. His number one thing on his mind is this strike. Okay. Now after I loosen him up, I might switch over and go for my triangle or my arm bar. But this is all after he's got blood dripping down his face. Does that make sense? So the next time you guys go for your triangle, just lock it up and keep him in bad posture. Okay? Because if a lot of people go for if I go for the triangle and I'm real sloppy with it, he can just throw it on by, and now look where I'm at. Okay? That's because I didn't lock, and that's my number one thing too. If I feel somebody going for a triangle, I usually just shoot the half. Now just go with it. Boom. You go down for a second if you will. So if Evan stuffs an arm, either arm, I take this and I shoot a half. Right here.
A half Nelson.
A half Nelson.
It's like a half guard Nelson.
I shoot my half Nelson, and that's how I get out of the guard. So when you're in a triangle situation, lock your arms, keep him there, and in the fight, you're going to batter away. And there's no better position to strike from. Even a mount, if I get mounted on Evan, or knee on the stomach, he's still got two hands to cover up from. But when you got somebody in that triangle, he just doesn't have anything to cover up. Okay, we're going to do one move, and I'll let you get back with your partners. So here I am. I love half. Okay? I like this really because I can control him without using my hands. Just because I put a lot of pressure down here. But my whole goal from here is, I'll tell you guys because I'm not going to grapple you. Well, I wouldn't tell you this if I was going to sit and grapple with you for 3 days. Just because I'm always key lock orientated because I'm a wrestler and just key locks work well for wrestlers. So here I am, and we're going to say Evan won't let this arm come down here. So what I do is I take from here I take my hand and put it on the other side right here. Now then I act like I'm going to go to guard. What's Evan probably going to do?
Put his hand down.
Probably going to put his hand, exactly. That's what I want, right there. Did you see that move? What's Evan just given me?
Arm.
Darn right he did. And I wouldn't have went to mount. I'm not a mount guy. But here's my key lock, okay? Thumbs are with the fingers. The first thing I want to do is I want to lock it up, and I want to pull it up. He's got some strength when he's got the key lock or the arm on his leg or on his body. So the first thing I want to do is I want to lock it up, and I want to pull it, and I want to put it on the ground. I don't care if he puts it behind his back. It doesn't matter to me what he does. As long as it's not on his body, I'm going to be fine. Take my leg out, step over his head, and I always say, make him